Hey everyone, Jong Uy here, and good evening everyone, and welcome to the Racing Lines, the purple sector for the Austrian Grand Prix. And of course, I'm with my three good buddies, Yamboy, Myles, and Andy. Unahin natin yung pinakamalayo. D, how are you, D?
Yes, yes. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon kung saan man kayo, wherever you are watching this show. Welcome once again to the purple sector of our racing lines.
Yeah.
Post-race, yan ang the perfect term, the post-race show where we will break down the very recently concluded Austrian Grand Prix and what a race it was.
Ah,
Absolutely
it's
crazy.
also called,
And we're gonna dig into that tonight.
yeah, Penalty Grand Prix. According to Mr. Talyer TV,
Penalty Grand
Yamboy,
Prix.
kumusta? How are you?
Yes, yes, yes. I haven't seen so much black and white flags being waved to the drivers. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Racing Lines Purple Sector. Yes, we just recently concluded the 11th race of the season, which is sa
Halfway.
Austria, no?
Basically,
So,
halfway na
halfway
tayo,
na
right?
tayo
Yeah.
ngayon.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
halfway through.
na.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Alright.
Malapit-lapit na. So,
Yeah.
yun. Exciting and maraming nangyari because of may sprint din kasi.
Yeah.
So, abangan ninyo yan.
Yes.
Yes. And
Oh,
Myles,
yeah.
kumusta
Yes.
amigos?
Good evening sa lahat. Good evening. Hello, Internet. Nakalimutan ako. Hello. Good evening sa inyo lahat. I hope you guys are well right now amidst the nangyayari sa ating paligid. But anyhow, we're here to talk about, as what you've said, the Austrian Grand Prix, the 5-second penalty Grand Prix. So, hindi
Yeah.
natin patatagalin to. Let's go on.
Yep. Let's start with the qualifying session. So,
Yes. Okay. Let's see now.
meron
Meron
ka?
akong explanation dito. Kawawa kasi itong aking my boy. My boy. All right. We can see after Q3, we have Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, George Russell, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton. But bad news for Perez kasi after Q3, he was investigated for exceeding the track limits for his Q2 run. Imagine, they used tires, nag-risk sila, ginamit pa nila ng grabe yung engine nila, and then he ended up having his time deleted from Q3 and the last run from Q2, and binigay sa kanya yung second to the last run niya for Q2. Kaya from 4th, naging 13th siya. So my boy Checo, kawawa naman.
And aside from that, yung dalawang Mercedes bigla lang what happened there? Sabi nila it was the wind on that area, biglang yung sabay, di ba?
Okay.
Nauna si
Kay Lewis, it was very clear tailwind yun kay Lewis eh. I don't know, hindi masyado ako familiar dun sa nangyari kay George. Kasi George was going downhill, di ba? You can remember going downhill siya.
Yeah.
Tapos biglang ang spin kasi niya, head-on siya doon sa barrier. Si Lewis ang head-on, si George ang likod ang damage.
Yeah.
So probably tailwind talaga 'yon.
And you can
kasi
just
maganda yung
Yeah.
hangin doon.
Oh. Orange country, grabe. Anyway, so
Yeah.
one of the surprises right here is the two Haas, no? Si Kevin K-Mag and Mick Schumacher. Which,
Yes.
but Miles, despite na hindi naka-qualifying si George Russell siguro halfway yata ng ano, hindi siya naka-qualifying ng Q3. He's still on 5th because he was able to have a very good run. Napanood mo, Miles?
The qualifying, nope. I only saw the highlights.
Yeah.
Napanood ko kasi yung sprint.
And ang katawa-tawa
actually, I
dito
saw
sa
part of it.
ang katawa-tawa sa qualifying, Yam, if napanood mo, Alonso was just sitting on the paddocks when they saw na nagdisgrasya yung dalawang Mercedes, biglang lumabas si Alonso capitalizing on the situation. So, grabe talaga si Manong, no?
Si Manong.
Si Manong.
Matalino si Manong.
Fantastic talaga.
Yes. Yeah.
Dalawang beses siya nagpakita ng gulang niya eh. Alam mo
Oo
yun?
nga, oo. Mamaya, makita natin.
Meron akong
kayo
ikwento. May ikwento ako about kay Manong mamaya. Kung paano siya
Sige.
gulang eh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna look at Manong Fernando later in the show kasi
Yeah.
he had an epic moment in the race. So we're
Yeah.
gonna look into that.
All right, before we proceed, Dennis Peninsula, good evening, sir. Yes, thank you, more power TLTV. Oh, Paige, how are you? And si Motobabe, nandito ba si Motobabe, ha? Shout out to Bolt Cycle, Davao, and Motobabe PH. Yes, good evening, Loisa. Rog, good evening. Daisy, maayong gabi. Joaquin Castro, good evening, sir. Yes, thank you for joining us for this Formula 1 racing the Austrian Grand Prix. Now,
Yeah.
let's move to I think this is the second time they had a sprint race. Tama ba? Gentlemen, am I
Yes,
correct?
second
Yeah, second
time.
time they have a sprint race.
Yep.
So that is why the qualifying is a Friday, Saturday is a sprint race. So, Yam, walk us through the sprint race.
Alright, sige. Okay, nakita natin kanina, this is the yung
The grid
classification
position,
nila, pero
for the sprint race.
Oo. So, ang bagong grid position is Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton, and nasa top 10, nasingit ngayon, si Gasly. So, makikita natin dito. Ito naman, nagtataka ako, formation lap na ng mga drivers, pero si
Sebastian
Fernando
Ocon.
Alonso, yung car niya.
Fernando Alonso ba to?
Ito.
Si
Fernando
Alonso yan.
Alonso.
Fernando. Their warmers are still
meron
on.
pang blanket. Meron pang blanket yung kanyang tires. So
Tire
yun pala,
warmer.
hindi nila kinuha because meron na palang problema yung kotse niya. So after nung nakaalis na lahat ng mga drivers, binalik siya sa pit just to do a manual start para at least from there, he will start from the pits para mag-umpisa na yung race. But unfortunately for Manong Alonso, hindi na talaga umandar yung kotse niya. That's the time na DNS siya. Did not start.
Did not start.
And then, yes. And then, after that, naka-formation na ulit itong mga drivers. Kay Jogan yun na naman na kotse ang may problema. Ayaw na naman mag-start. That is why, supposed to be, the sprint was 24 laps, nabawasan ng isa. Kasi, kailangan nilang maligpit itong si Joe muna. So, after this, nagkaroon ng red and green light.
Reformation.
So, so, ano na naman, pre-formation lap na naman sila hanggang sa nakatakbo itong kay Joe. That's why nabawasan ng isang lap yung sprint race natin. So anyway, this is the 5 lights off and away they go na makikita natin dito. Max had a very nice start.
Yes.
On this angle, we can see Charles Leclerc here, medyo pinidpid ng mabuti ni Max through the right side of the racetrack. And then, makikita dito, Carlos Sainz, masyadong maluwag yung kanyang area dito na side. That is why, yan. That is why, on the first turn, nauna si Carlos Sainz from Charles Leclerc. Makikita natin dyan. Pero, ito namang mga kotse dito, parang nag-ala George and ano naman sila dito sa
George and Zoe, one you.
Magulo.
Yeah.
Medyo nagkagulo sa likod.
Nagkagulo sa likod. So, here is the rear shot. May kagulo. Yun pala si Gasly sumabit dun sa right front tire ni Lewis Hamilton. This one.
Lewis Hamilton.
This is the tire.
Ouch.
The tire, yan. So, ganito talaga yung nangyari. Pero ito medyo umangat lang kaagad ito siya. Si George kasi with Gasly is bumangga. So, sad-sad yun. Kaya medyo mabilis yung nangyari. Itong sa kanya, parang dumaan lang siya sa napakalaking hump. 18 inches na hump.
Yep. Very bumpy ride.
So, yeah. So, ito, guys, anong masasabi ninyo? Because instead of concentrating to have a good run and pwedeng mahabol si Max, itong dalawang Ferrari dito, sila pa yung tuloy ang naghabulan eh. So, kaya si Max talagang nauna na talaga siya ng ilang oras. Kaya, guys, anong masasabi ninyo dito sa Ferrari battle dito as early as the sprint race?
The sprint pa lang.
Lap 1 pa lang. Di ba?
Miles, anything
Jong.
to add?
Okay, ito na lang sa akin. My take on what happened to the Ferrari guys during the sprint. Okay. Alam naman natin that it was Carlos Sainz weekend during the British Grand Prix. So, kumbaga, ang momentum na sa kanya, 'di ba? So, he needs to prove na he could do it again, 'di ba? So, why not?
Absolutely.
'Di ba? Parang ano na rin eh. I know he is in social media naman. So nababasa rin niya yung yung mga feedback ng kanyang mga fans, 'di ba? So alam na natin na he did well, 'di ba? Maraming lumalabas na parang mas mabuti pa si Carlos Sainz kaysa sa mga Ferrari's team strategy, 'di ba? So ang akin na parang okay, pwede naman kaya kaming magkarera, so why not, 'di ba? Ang kalaban naman natin, ang kalaban ko dito si Max eh. So habulin ko si Max. Pero nangyayari Carlos Sainz also thinks of the same thing eh. Charles Leclerc pala. Charles also is thinking of that. Lumabas, naghabulan sila. Siguro masakit ng ulo ni Matia nito kasi ang nangyayari, parang if we're gonna miss this sprint qualifying, patay tayo. Diba? Isipin natin kung anong mangyayari. Hindi to yung actual race eh. So kung sakaling maaksidente kayo or alam naman natin na the Austrian Grand Prix track is in Spielberg is prone to accidents. Especially, I forgot anong turn yun di. Yung going uphill na very parang
because of the elevation changes.
Tatakaw disgrasya. Yun eh. So, sa sprint pa lang.
One of the more tricky, yeah.
Yeah, kung magka-disgrasya tayo Ferrari dito, so kawawa naman. So, ang akin lang din kasi parang Ferrari, maybe pwede sigurong mag-recollection kayo o mag-retreat nyo yung mga drivers niyo para ano ba. Usap tayo, team building na. Hindi
Yeah, I think saglit.
They need to do team building.
Yeah, before
They need to do team building and also I think it serves as fodder for the next season for DTS eh. Parang ito na yung episode na, diba? So malamang ba? Yun naman ang gusto ng DTS eh. To stir up controversies between the drivers. So yun na nga. Nadadala ng fans, nadadala ng kaya yun, nagkakagulo na. Nagkakagulo na buong F1 world.
At saka maganda yung season ng Netflix next year. Drive to Survive. Marami masyadong drama.
Kaya nga, maraming drama. Sa sobrang, kaya nga, actually, part to be blamed is the DTS from Netflix eh. ano eh. Kasi yun na nga, we're here for the sport, di ba? So, ang nangyari, parang polarized na masyado ang F1 world
Yeah.
To the point na, if you're wearing a shirt na kalaban mo, awayin mo, or bastusin mo, hindi naman ganun. Kasi we're here for the sport. Hindi naman sa ano. Oo naman, may teams tayo, we support the teams, we support the drivers, pero not to the point na saktan naman natin yung ating kapwa na, no?
Yes.
Kapwa fan.
May
Diba?
ibang tao.
So,
May
ito
ibang
pala,
tao talaga, no?
tama pala, before ano, okay. So, good evening sa mga nanonood sa atin sa Facebook
Yes.
and
So,
YouTube.
first,
So, you can
isa-isahin
comment.
ko. Ryan, good evening dyan. Yes, from Manila. Crisel Jean, hi. Moto Babe, good evening. You're watching from Bolt Cycle. Azakara Cilia, yes, good evening. Thank you. More power, TRL TV. Madison Light Rivera, good evening. Joel De La Viña from Bacolod, yes, good evening, Joel. See you in Cebu this Friday. So, yeah, I'm leaving for Cebu pala this Friday. Nalimutan ko. Alright.
Busy, oh.
Di, shoutout mo naman ako, Di. Walang nagpapa-shoutout sa akin.
Oo nga, no?
Shoutout mo naman kami ni Yamboy. Walang nagpapa-shoutout sa
Shoutout
akin.
daw kay Sir Myles at saka kay Sir Yamboy Caguiat. tayo na lang.
Okay lang. We'll go back to the topic.
Okay.
Alright.
Ito. Let's
not
continue.
get
Let's
off track
continue.
here.
Okay. This one is between Albon and Norris.
Lando Norris.
Lando, yeah. Here, Albon was given a 5-second penalty for pushing Norris off the track. So this one is very opposite from what happened in Silverstone, no? Kasi dito, yung sa Silverstone, it's understandable because ang bagong ruling kasi nila is pag yung nose ng car nauna doon sa apex, iyo yung kalye. Let's simplify it at that. That's why makikita mo nung sa Silverstone, maraming ganyan na pangyayari pero walang mga penalties. Because nga, kahit si George din ang tatanungin, ang understanding niya is pag ikaw ang nauna, your car is the first one to reach the apex, iyo yung kalye. Kaya dito na nag-umpisa yung mga penalties, okay? And then Albon got a 5-second penalty for pushing Norris off the track. So that doon sa sprint hindi ko na masyado binigyan ng importansya kasi alam mo naman si Checo, alam natin kahit sa ending yan, maganda talaga ang tapos ng taong yan. Pero as you can remember the sprint, the midfielders, yun ang nagbigay ng saya sa atin, no?
Yeah.
Between
Absolutely.
Ocon, between Magnussen, between Mick Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton. Diyan sila dito nag-umpisa na kaagad sa nag-umpisa na kaagad sa sprint, pinapakita na kaagad ng mga midfielders what they can do. Actually, mas nag-enjoy ako doon sa midfielders kaysa doon sa mga nauna.
Yeah, at saka meron ding situation where si Mick Schumacher was complaining on the team, no, ba't daw siya hindi pinauna. If I'm not sure if that was the issue or iniwan siya ni K-Mag. Now Lewis Hamilton was trying to catch him, but he was doing a very good job, di ba? Na hindi siya
Maybe Shumi is faster than K-Mag.
Absolutely.
So,
pinahirapan niya si Lewis. Lewis was able to overtake him 3 laps to go na lang.
yes.
Imagine ilang laps niya pinahirapan si Lewis. So ang issue ni doon is sinabihan niya yung team, can you tell K-Mag to slow down so I can do a DRS para at least Lewis can stay behind me kasi pag may DRS train mahirap i-brake unless you're Checo kasi na-brake talaga ni Checo ang DRS train ng dalawang Haas So una, Mick Schumacher ang tinira niya, pangalawa si K-Mag, and then after that Ocon. That's why he reached the fifth
No,
fifth
it also shows the superiority of the Red Bull car as well. So ano
yes,
din,
exactly.
yun yung ano dun. So when it comes to Haas Ferrari, medyo ano pa tayo, 'di ba? Parang wala pa sila doon. All right. So, let's go to the race.
Okay, sa race proper. Anyway, before the race, before the race, so this is the sprint result.
Results.
We need to show this one kasi dito yung grid for the race proper. So Max Verstappen number 1, Charles Leclerc number 2, Carlos Sainz, George Russell, Sergio Perez from P13 to P5, only 23 laps, nagawa niya yan. Esteban Ocon, K-Mag, Hamilton, Schumacher on the 9th grid, and Valtteri Bottas. So, K-Mag, Schumacher, dalawang beses sila nasa top 10 sa Silverstone din. And then, yan, pare, yan ang dapat na logo sa kanila.
So, for our viewers pala, saglit.
Okay.
For our viewers pala, the black and white flag is the warning flag. No, so if you got that, you have done something wrong according to the marshal, so you're gonna be waved with the black and white flag. Kung sa karera pa namin yan yung mga kinakatakutan na flag. So, saglit. Before ka mag-proceed, meron pang nagano. Emmy Park, watching from Toledo City, Cebu. Mayong gabi, diha sa
Mayong gabi.
Yes, Ava Marie Inad, watching from Butuan. God bless. Thank you. And good evening. All right, so the black and white race. Go ahead.
The black and white race. All right. 5 lights off and away they go. This is the ano ba to? Start. And then
Start? Yep.
Okay.
Ano
Ito
yun,
medyo
approaching turn 1 yan
this one is approaching turn 1.
Uphill turn 1.
Ayan na, merong anong tawag nito? Nakasingit na si George dito, but you can see here si
Checo.
Perez pilit niya hinahabol kasi kailangan talaga niyang nandito sa area na ito. Pero si George talaga, since he was P4, ayaw patalo. Ayaw patalo ni George. Okay. So right here, makikita natin wala na si Max, nauna na siya. Ito si Charles, Carlos, and then dito na nag-umpisa yung kanilang battle ni George and ni Perez. Diba? And then after that, ito pala. FIA is thinking of banning the flares. Kasi tingnan mo, kaya malabo yan because
Hazy,
of the orange flares.
Yeah.
That's a flare.
Okay, this one is Russell versus Perez. Diyan na turn si my boy Checo.
Yeah. So
This one is turn
Malas naman
4
ni
na
that cost him the race.
gigil kasi.
Yeah. So that cost him the race.
Actually magigil lang masyado itong si Checo eh. Wala pa namang DRS, so sana medyo inano muna niya kasi turn 4 kasi talagang pati yung si George hindi din talaga niya halos makontrol yung kotse niya. Kaya yon, kahit nagbigay ng malaking lugar si Checo, pero naabutan pa din niya yung front tire ni George, causing him that
Kaya
turn
makes
and
me
causing
think,
him that
makes me think, gigil ba talaga or was it, parang, I think it was just a combination of factors, di ba? Kasi, yun nga, Checo gave him a lot of space and it was basically up to George kasi at that point, at that apex, medyo nauuna na nga si Checo, di ba?
Yeah.
That's why George's front left hit Checo's rear right. So technically, if you're gonna go by the book, Russell should have let off the accelerator kahit konti man lang to give the corner to Checo. Pero of course, these guys, it's the first lap. It's the first lap.
Kaya nga,
You want to
that's
find
why,
your position. Kaya na, so
that's why si Checo
on
parang
both ends siguro.
nanggigil.
But eventually, George Russell was given a penalty. So,
Yes.
yun na yun.
5-second penalty for George.
5-second penalty. So that was it.
All right,
But-
Miles.
Miles,
Dahil yun nga, 5-second penalty. Ito lang kasi regards kasi the FIA ruling against the Apex kasi, upon Apex ruling kasi, it's very vague. It depends upon the interpretation eh. Kasi just like what happened to Alex Albon during the sprint, okay? He was first to reach the corner, pero he parang nag-underbrake kasi siya eh. So that is why si Lando Norris slowly crept in from to the left, which siyempre dahil Apex susundin ni Alex Albon ang racing line, which eventually magkadikit na nga sila ni Lando Norris, somehow pushed Lando Norris out. Pero yun na nga, kung sa point of view naman ni Alex Albon, yan ang style ng driving ko eh, to approach that corner, nag-underbrake ako. Pero yun na nga, Lando Norris pumunta sa kabila, dahil brake ako, iniwasan ako. So, syempre, to avoid contact, iwas. Pag iwas sa akin, nakakita siya ng linya, kung kinuha niya, pero may linya rin ako. So, yun na nga eh. In terms of
That's right.
kung sino, how to interpret the Apex ruling of FIA, it's very hard. Buti na lang hindi ako FIA race director or race marshal. You know, that's very hard, di ba?
Hindi ka steward. Mahirap yan.
Yes, hats off to them, di ba? It's very hard to decide agad-agad, di ba? Pero
Exactly.
yun na nga, what happened to Russell
Mahirap
and that's the ano.
Yeah, you are
Ito nga sabi
very
nila,
unfortunate incident.
history repeats itself eh.
Repeats
Parang
itself.
Russell to Perez and just like Hamilton to Alex
And
Albon.
Verstappen.
And
Albon pala, sorry.
Albon, that's Albon.
yeah.
Doon nagsimula
Same
yung
corner. Same corner.
Oh. Yun yung doon
Same
nagsimula
corner,
yung
yes.
sinabi ni Christian Horner kay Alex Albon eh, na parang that guy didn't like you kasi yun na nga from Australian Grand Prix to the Brazilian Grand Prix yun ang nangyari eh, di ba? Parang ayaw
Yun ang
galit
nangyari.
talaga si Hamilton kay Alex Albon kaya. Pero somehow it was a racing incident, hindi naman
Oh, well.
I don't know, sinasadya ba rin, no? But anyway, that's still the first lap. And medyo ayaw ko yung nangyari sa first lap kasi grabe ang orange smoke na ginamit ng fans eh.
Yeah, it
So,
was
hindi ko makikita eh, di ba? Parang-
grabe talaga. Yeah.
So ang akin lang din, somehow sana, ako, sa atin nanonood, grabe na yung orange smoke eh. So what more kung siguro sa driver, di ba?
Kung
Kailangan
nandun ka.
nila ng magaling na visibility, di ba? So I think FIA should look into that na pwede naman mag-clear pero not that much. Lalo na pag pwede siguro afterwards, after the race to celebrate. Pero not during
After
the
race.
first, not during the first lap. Kasi yun na nga, mahirap. Tayo nanonood, medyo, oy, ano man to, puro usok, di ba? Ano ba yan? Buti na lang orange yun. Meron ibang fans parang galing talaga ng McLaren. Daming fans. Oops, hindi po team papaya yan. Kulay po ni Max Verstappen yan. Saka ang Red Bull po ay home Grand Prix po nila yung Austria, di ba? So, home
the
court po yan,
flares.
home court po ng Red Bull yan, di ba? Home court advantage yan. So,
Yeah.
yun na nga. Okay, moving on to the
Okay.
next succeeding lap.
Moving on.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Meron na namang batikos doon sa director kasi kung kailan naman kasi nila pinakita itong replay na ito, hindi tuloy natin nakita paano na DRS ni Charles ang unang overtake niya kay Max Verstappen. So nakita natin siya approaching the turn na lang and then after this, eto na. Ito na yung kauna-unahang pinaglaruan nila na pinaglaruan ng Ferrari ang Red Bull. Feeling ko talagang because they have the edge kasi meron silang pace, maganda yung kapit ng gulong nila. So parang meron silang edge kahit mag-pit pa sila. So eventually mahahabol din ulit nila si Max. So yan yung nangyari sa buong karera. 3 beses tinira ni Charles si Max Verstappen sa buong race. So ito yung una. Reklamo na si Max dito kasi medyo degradation ng kanyang gulong mabilis. So after this nag-pit na siya.
Nag-pit siya ulit.
Pero
diba?
the next slide. This one is the next slide. Itong next slide na ito,
Now,
this one is the
Yam,
move of...
can I Yam, sorry, can I just interrupt sandali, no? Kasi
Sige.
this was anong lap ba tong Leclerc and Verstappen battle na to? This was what?
Yan yung first battle nila.
First overtake
Lap
nila, di ba?
number-
Going back even before that, no? I don't think wala tayong footage nun, pero lap 5, in case you guys weren't able to catch it, on lap 5, Lewis Hamilton was overtaken. He was in P7. He was overtaken by a certain
Schumacher.
Mick Schumacher.
Yeah.
Wow. So, in a Haas, I should say. So, wow. Sayang wala tayong footage na, pero if you see the replays, nasa highlights yun kasi ng race that just that feeling, no, na there's a pleasing circularity. The Schumacher name is finally coming back into F1. So I'm hoping na this is the start of more good things for Mick Schumacher. Kasi it's just
And
so
Haas,
good to see
and Haas.
the Schumacher name, and Haas of course. But it's just so good to see the Schumacher name starting to take root again in these new generation of cars. It's awesome.
Yeah, of course.
Just so refreshing to see. So, okay,
Yeah.
Shumi fan here. Unapologetic.
So this is K-Mag,
Okay,
right?
okay.
And Alonso.
Yeah.
This is K-Magna.
Speaking of Haas,
Speaking
this
of Haas.
one, K-Mag, double overtake, Jong Uy and Manong Alonso. Dalawa ang na-overtake niya dito na area na ito. Ayun si Joe, eto si Manong, ayan yung Haas. Oh my God, midfielders, sila ang nagbigay saya.
Yes, absolutely.
And look
And
at
then
this.
look,
At saka, ano to? This
Another
this is
five
the five car battle. When was the last time you guys saw a 5-car battle?
Silverstone.
When was the last time?
British Grand Prix, British Grand Prix.
Yeah,
Yung
this is
Sa Silverstone lang.
ganito kadikit na ganito katagal yung dikit. This was epic. This
Yeah,
was over
right.
several corners, di ba?
Yeah, this was the
Incredible to watch.
the promise
Incredible to watch.
of FIA by changing the
Yep.
car for 2022. They would we would see side by side battle. So ito na to. Ito na
Wheel
to
to wheel
sinasabi nila.
battle.
Wheel to wheel battle na. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
midfield lang nga. Hindi lang dun sa front fielders. So,
Pero,
it's good enough. It's good enough.
Masaya pa rin. Epic pa rin.
While watching the race, you're cheering for your team, but you are also cheering for midfielders
Oh,
Kasi
yes,
very
yes.
tight din yung
Yes,
labanan ng
absolutely.
fourth, fifth, and sixth. That's why for this one, I was rooting for the Haases.
Oh, yes.
And look, when they arrived here on this turn, tingnan nyo naman yan. Dikit silang lahat pero walang disgrasya.
Walang bumangga.
Walang
Yeah.
Walang
They
contact.
did not
No
touch
contact.
each other.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful racing.
beautiful racing this one. Grabe. So last week lang we've seen wheel-to-wheel battle, 5 cars. Ngayon binigyan na naman nila tayo ng entertainment na ganito.
Yeah.
This is
Awesome.
really amazing. The promise of FIA is really working. Ito na
Yes.
yung nakikita
It's
Finally.
like,
natin.
it's like go-kart racing na para bang magbanggaan kayo walang masira sa kotse mo.
Ganun,
Diba?
ganun kadikit, di ba? Oh, it's almost like go-karts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
That was awesome.
for this
What an
one,
awesome sequence.
for this corner, Lando Norris is attempting to overtake K-Mag. And pagdating dito, makikita natin si Norris, nauuna na siya from Magnussen. And naibalik naman agad ni Magnussen from Norris ang lead. And then ito Alonso. Mick Schumacher nakalusot na kaagad and Jong Uy. Ayan, ilang angles yan na 5 cars, di ba?
Yeah.
Guys,
That's very rare.
So, yep,
That's
so-
very rare.
Manong Alonso, mixing it up with the young kids, you know.
This is
Yeah,
another Manong
and-
Vettel.
Di ba? And isipin
Ito,
niyo, Alonso
unfortunately-
started the race in P20. He was right at the back of the grid. Isipin niyo yan. And now he's in
And
what?
then-
P8? Ano ba yun? P8, P9 ba yun? At this point,
This time,
ang bilis
nasa-
talaga ng pace ng
nasa-
Alpine. Oh. Ang malakas ang pace ng Alpine. So, you really cannot underestimate Alpine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Panalo pa rin siya. Ang ganda
Very
ng
rare
battle eh.
ang ganitong
No?
sistema.
Kaya nga,
Eto,
it's
Manong
just awesome
Vettel.
to watch. Pero,
Galit na sa
Ouch.
mundo si Manong Vettel dito. Clowns.
ay, nako. Aray.
He was,
Vettel.
This one is between him and Gasly. So, nabigyan na naman ng 5-second penalty si Gasly because of this one, this spin of Manong Vettel. Ayan na, guys.
Oh, no.
Nagsusugba na sa loob. Parang
This
Ferrari
one,
grill is
yeah,
open
this
for
one
business.
really broke my heart. This one really broke
Yeah,
my heart.
exactly.
Ano talaga? So,
This is this is another point no where this is another point na talagang Carlos Sainz is just not work. It just wasn't Carlos Sainz's day, and I think this following GIF kind of summarizes everyone's feelings about that. Just pain. Aray, it was awful watching Sainz climb out of that burning car. And can we just, look, just check out this photo, no? Kasi, did you guys see the marshals before they got to the car? Parang, I don't know what the marshals were doing. Kasi, yeah, the marshals were just, I think they were caught with their pants down, kumbaga.
oh yes, they were having a hard
Took them
time. They were
ages.
having a hard time.
Took them ages. Took them
Yes,
absolute
yes,
ages to get to the car and start extinguishing the fire.
Yeah.
And Carlos was
Ito, Andy.
trying to stop the car and everything. Oh. Yes.
look at this photo here. The marshal was
Nilagay yung fire extinguisher sa
putting
gulong.
the- Ito,
Yes.
naglagay pa kasi siya ng
Fire
bahil.
stopper.
ng chock block.
Yeah, kasi
Chock block.
paatras na yung kotse niya. So, naglagay siya ng chock block.
Oh,
Ayan,
chock block
nag-
dyan. Pero
nag-aapoy
it took
na yung
long.
microwave
Kawawa
oven ng
naman si
Ferrari.
Sainz. And yes,
Ayan,
Myles
tingnan
has
niyo yung
shots
picture
of,
ni Myles.
Myles has shots
Jong.
of
Yeah.
the aftermath. Balik mo, Myles, yung nakaupo si Sainz. Kawawa naman. Another
Ano ba yun?
terrible day for Carlos Sainz.
Rewind.
Okay, transition mo.
Yan! Ganda
Aray,
naman.
pain talaga.
Broke my heart
Carlos
right here.
Sainz.
So,
Yeah.
ako naawa
Heartbreaking.
talaga ako. So,
Kawawa
kumbaga,
naman.
it could have been a good 1-2 because they were able to
Absolutely. Easy
beat-
1-2.
beat Verstappen there. Verstappen was also
Absolutely.
struggling with
It
his
could have
car.
been,
Diba? Unfortunately, ito
easy
yung
1-2
nangyari
for
sa kanya.
Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ay! Sakit
It
sa
only
bangs.
proves yeah.
Sige, Miles.
Well,
Ay, nako.
not to with the what happened to Carlos Sainz. Diba? Parang, diyan natin makikita kasi na reliability na naman eh. Reliability.
Yes.
Speaking of reliability, meron pa, di ba? He was scared. He was leading the race and he was scared
Yes.
something wrong with that throttle
Brake
sa
pedal.
di ba? He was scared.
Throttle
Yes.
pedal.
So, grabe.
So, yeah. So, are we discussing that now? Are we
Nah.
gonna touch
Hindi.
on
Wala pa.
Ferrari?
Later.
Wala pa. Oh, may
Hindi,
hanay.
Simulan natin itong karera.
So, anyway.
Yeah, tapusin
let's,
natin. Yeah, go.
I-chronological natin to.
Yeah. Go.
Sige.
So,
Okay, after
this,
this one, Carlos is from Spain, but what happened here is
Yeah.
minus the S.
Without the S. Ay, nako. Kawawang Carlos naman.
Okay, ito pala.
Checkered
Tapos na
na.
pala tayo. Ito na yung ito
Ay.
na yung checkered flag.
So before
Leclerc,
before the
before
ending
this-
sequence, no.
Andy, go ahead.
Yes, so before
You
the ending
discussed it,
sequence, Charles Leclerc, yes, our good friend Charles Leclerc, he was
Charlie.
in second place. Second place. He was actually, I think he was leading by this point, na, di ba?
He was
He was
leading.
eventually
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to retake the lead from Verstappen kasi yun nga, they had another battle, another classic Leclerc Verstappen battle. Na of course malinis this time, which is very important. So kudos again to Carlos and not Carlos, Charles and Max for another clean yet very close, thrilling battle.
Yeah.
Diba? So these two, as many of us know, these two go back way back to karting days with the very infamous incident ni Charles Leclerc during that one karting competition where nagbanggaan sila ni Max. Anyway, going back to the closing sequences kumbaga ng ating race, Charles Leclerc had a bit of a problem. His pedal was starting to apparently his pedal was starting to malfunction. It was kind of catching, no? Kasi when the driver steps down, yep, that's full depression. They're expecting that pedal, when they let go, they're expecting the pedal to come right back up. The problem with Charles is yung pedal niya hindi agad bumabalik sa zero. I think it was catching sa 20-30% daw, parang ganun yung nangyari. And
30%.
the first time, yeah. So the first time we heard about it was Charles was going, what's happening with the throttle? And immediately, I think I sensed immediately, no, every Ferrari fan in the world was just like, all their eyes, parang, oh, S word, what's happening? So in lap 62, patapos na kasi 70 laps then. Lap 62, Leclerc says, pedal is okay now. So, shoo. And then, a few laps later, lap 64, yun nga, what's happening with the throttle? Kasi yun nga, it's catching on its way up. And to add to Ferrari's problems, Verstappen in P2 had the fastest lap.
Closing in.
And he was
He's closing
maintaining
in, yeah.
fastest lap. So yeah, he was closing in. So it was a very thrilling battle right up to the end. By lap 70, of course, by the end of the result, Leclerc still had 3 seconds. Pero it could have been so much worse for Ferrari, for Leclerc, if that pedal had kind of given up.
Yeah.
So by the end of the race, we had I think Yamboy has the graphics for the end of the race here. We have Charles Leclerc in P1 after their run of bad luck. Ferrari is slowly clawing its way back up.
It's their
So,
first
Ferrari
win.
in P1.
Ferrari's
First
first
win
win
since-
after how many races?
Yeah.
Oh,
after
ilang
how many
races na yun,
races?
di ba?
Charles first win after
Particularly
Australia.
for Leclerc after quite a few races na, di ba? Oh.
Yeah.
We've had
Ah.
different winners for different races up until today. So
Australia pa yung last niya.
Australia, Albert Park pa yun. Matagal na yun, di ba? So the results were as follows. Yes, thank you, Yam. Charles Leclerc first, Max Verstappen in P2, Lewis Hamilton out of nowhere P3, and George Russell in P4. So props to
Silently.
Mercedes, no, for yes, the
Mercedes
consistent
silently,
silent
yeah.
team that is Mercedes. Props to them kasi yun nga in qualifying they lost both cars to crashes, diba? So they did an excellent job putting the cars back together in time for race day. P5, Esteban Ocon, another very quiet lang si Ocon in the background, pero P5, big points haul for Alpine, 10 points.
And
P6 and P7, Unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
Haas, Mick Schumacher in P6, K-Mag in P7.
No.
It's
P8,
a great
Lando
day
Norris.
to be a
Lando
Haas
Norris.
fan, di ba?
Lando
Oh,
Norris.
sorry.
P7.
Lando
P8
Norris
si
in P7. P8 si K-Mag. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I know someone's very happy that Haas had double points today. And that is our very good friend. Our very good friend, Gunther Steiner. All aboard the Steiner ship again. Kasi, what a good day to be a Haas fan. if there are
definitely.
any, I'm sure there are Haas fans. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Ako.
So this is
Let me-
Mick Schumacher's... Oh, sige,
Miles.
Miles, go ahead.
Okay, let me, here's my take on the results, on the top 10 results, okay.
I'm gonna keep that
congratulations pala kay Gunter. Di, pakitanggal na si
Yes.
Gunter, baka magsasalita yan bigla.
Oo.
Anyway,
Diyan lang.
Anyway,
I think I'm gonna keep him there. I like
Okay,
watching
sige.
Happy
Let's
Gunther.
stay in there.
Diyan lang yun.
Jong, pwede pa kay ano na lang, on the main screen na lang yung results na lang. Yamboy the main screen. Okay. I would just like to point out, okay, as you can see, the Haas really has the pace during this Austrian Grand Prix. Okay. Medyo tongue twister. Anyway, they really has the pace kasi as you can see, they are running a Ferrari engine, di ba? And alam naman natin, Gene Haas and the rest of the team, bibili sila sa Ferrari ng hanggang anong pwedeng i-permit ng FIA to buy from Ferrari.
Yep.
So, technically, they are just like Ferrari with a different chassis, di ba? I think they're running a
Slightly
Haas.
different chassis.
Oh, yes, di ba? Anyway, so that's why kita naman natin sans the reliability issue of Sainz, another tongue twister there, Ferrari really has the pace for Ferrari could have got the one to finish there, di ba? Just like Haas, di ba? Makikita naman din natin, okay, silently the Mercedes are there for Hamilton and Russell. And congratulations once again to Lewis Hamilton for getting the 100% ever for this year. Siya ang the only driver to finish every Grand Prix.
Yep, so far.
100%.
Yes. So far this year.
Wala siyang breakdown, wala siyang retirement, walang everything. So he's the only driver na who saw the checkered flag in all races.
That's right.
Halfway through. Okay. And kung makikita natin, ang time difference nila, they are running how much is that? Like 41 seconds, di ba? Yung time na yan for the remainder of the race, for the last few laps, ganyan na yan eh. And when Mr. B-Man Vettel, who was wearing a different helmet during the Australian Grand Prix to promote the fair of the beast, okay, that's why I call him the B-Man. Okay,
Yeah.
When he spun around, I was like literally medyo napatalon ako sa akyupuan eh kasi parang safety car to. Pwedeng safety car. So pag sa safety car ito, the time of Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, pwedeng mababawasan to during the safety car. Pero buti na lang walang safety car.
Virtual lang.
Nagkaroon ng virtual safety car for only a couple of corners. Pero buti na lang walang safety car to the point na maintain ni Max Verstappen ang kanyang time difference. Diba? And kung makikita naman natin during the race, Charles the front runner, si Charles was lapping, I think he was lapping Lando Norris.
Mick Schumacher
around
yata
that point
eh.
na.
Mick Schumacher
nalap
yata eh.
din natin yung position.
Somewhere around that point na. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, nalalap na niyan.
Yes.
So, kita naman natin sa... yun na nga, kita natin on the final position pala.
Yeah, one
Mick
lap.
Schumacher
Yeah.
na.
So Mick Schumacher na last.
Mick Schumacher.
One lap down, di ba? So ganun ka ano yung
Ganun kalayo.
race na pace. Okay. Considering na wala masyadong drama nangyari, wala masyadong pit stop na nangyari, pit stop drama, pit stop bruhaha, na hindi tulad nung alam ko na nagkaroon ng pit stop na medyo nabulilyaso, pero yun na nga. Pwede na bang ikwentuhin yung aking pasabog?
No.
Kay Manong Fernando.
Go ahead.
Are we starting Manong
Go
Fernando
ahead.
right now?
Yeah.
Ito na lang ha.
Yes.
Let me,
Let's talk about Manong Fernando for a minute.
Manong Fernando. Okay, Manong Fernando was teka ha. Let me. Medyo baguan eh, medyo baguan.
Congratulations,
Medyo baguan.
Miles,
Sorry.
For those paying
Okay.
attention.
Jong, ilagay mo
if
sa
you're paying
malaki.
attention,
Ilagay mo sa malaki.
Sorry.
Miles is learning the ropes rin ng ating
I'm learning. Okay.
ating new technology
This is
today.
yes. Thank you for Mr. Talyar TV and Andy and all the three of you guys. Okay, thank you for showing me this. Okay.
This show is a work in progress.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Para sa kaalaman na lahat. Okay, this is Manong Fernando. Manong Fernando's car. Napapansin nyo, behind the scenes, he was nag-double pit kasi siya eh for the tires, okay?
Mhm.
The first time he,
Yep,
nearing the closing stages na to ng race, the first time he pit, yung kanyang left front tire, hindi nakakabit ng maayos eh. It was loosely, So, to avoid, kasi, pag loose, ang pagkakabit sa it is deemed unsafe eh. You'll be black flag yan eh.
Black and orange flag.
Yep.
No,
Black and
hindi
orange
lang
yan.
black and orange.
Oh.
Game over ka talaga na
pwede diretso black. Pwede diretso black yan.
Black flag ka niyan. Pwede kasi
Pwede ka diretso
releasing
black flag.
unsafe.
Unsafe yan.
Unsafe. So lahat, everything. So napansin ni Fernando Alonso yon. So instead of blurting it out on the radio na I've got a left loose front wheel, nagsabi na lang siya na I need to box again. Kasi alam naman natin the radios are being
maririnig.
monitored by FIA.
It's all monitored.
Kung sasabihin niya na left front tire loose to, wala, game over na. So ang ginawa niya, nag-pit na lang siya. Huli ka. So nag-pit na lang siya. I need to box again. So pumasok siya ulit sa pit. Then slowly parang medyo hand gesture tinuro yung gulong na loose. Kaya na-rectify nila yung error na loose. He went out again. Thinking, Manong Fernando parang, naisahan ko kayo. Pero, yun na nga, FIA, maraming mata eh. Kaya, napansin nila yun. So, that's why, Fernando Alonso got a, what do you call this? Got a penalty for that. For
Nahuli pa rin siya.
Kaya ngayon nga, medyo magulang eh.
Manong
Yes.
diba?
Speaking of gulang, speaking of magulang moments ni Manong Fernando, unfortunately we don't have a shot of that. Pero if you guys remember, he was battling Yuki Tsunoda at one point. Tsunoda, by the way, is So Fernando Alonso, by the way, is the idol of Yuki Tsunoda. In
Despite
many
sa
ways.
ginawa niya, ganun niya, di ba?
Actually, parang iniidolo daw ng Yuki Tsunoda and his family, yung si Fernando Alonso. Anyway, Tsunoda and Alonso battling it out as the midfielders usually would. Tsunoda, as you would squeeze your opponent towards the side of the track, di ba? Pero you're doing that to Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion Fernando Alonso. You always have to give him space, di ba?
Yeah.
Yun yung sinabi niya noon pa. So, unfortunately, Fernando Alonso was forced right to the side of the racetrack onto the grass. Thank you, Mas, for the footage. So, makikita mo, Alonso's right side tires are actually off the track. They're on the grass.
Yeah.
Fernando Alonso, being Fernando Alonso, he pushes through, overtakes the AlphaTauri, and waves the finger of doom kay Tsunoda.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That's bad.
Pwede yan.
You're squeezing me off the track. Bawal yan. Diyan nakikita ang experience no?
Actually, hindi lang si Fernando Alonso ang may reklamo regarding sa mga young
Yeah.
drivers right now. Kasi also Lewis Hamilton once complained over the radio na I forgot the exact words, but sabi niya na they kept yung parang weaving around under braking,
Yep. Mhm.
while
Yep.
braking they're around. Yun na reklamo
Moving under
ni
braking.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yung moving
Yes,
under
yes,
braking.
exactly.
Yes.
Yun ang reklamo ni ano na hindi that's a no, hindi kayo gano. So parang ano kayang parang my take on that is parang these young drivers kasi parang sanay na sa sim racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maki
Okay,
silang
no?
kumakarera sa sim eh. So parang they don't know
Exactly.
the extent of doing that eh.
Will to will.
Pwedeng-
Yung will to will na
Anong pwedeng mangyari
rapping.
nun eh. Oh, anong pwedeng mangyari sa iyo yun eh?
Exactly.
Sa sasakyan at your back. So, nga. So, I guess parang yun ang difference bagong drivers natin and manong drivers. Which is, I also consider Lou one of the manong drivers eh, kasi he's been on the
Manong na
grid
yan,
for quite some time already.
Ilang years
Yeah.
na. Tagal na no?
Alright.
Pero Vince,
Alright.
pero
Sige,
yes, pero to a point, pero to a degree, no? This is what we want to see. To a degree, hindi naman yung to the point na it causes an accident or
Yeah,
causes a lap
definitely,
time to be
definitely.
deleted.
Definitely.
Which was the case in this race many times in this race. Ang daming lap time na na-delete, di ba?
Yeah.
But this is what we want to see. Young, aggressive drivers, elbows out, malinis. Pero malinis, yan ang importante. So that makes for awesome, epic racing every week. Every race week, di ba? That's
Yeah.
what we want to see. And these young drivers, they're for the most part they are delivering, and it's just such a good time to be an F1 fan.
Definitely.
Yes. Balikan lang natin mga sirs, balikan lang natin. Kasi pinakita kanina ni Yamboy yung yun sana yung logo ng Austrian Grand Prix, the black and white flag. Kaya nga, sabi ni Yamboy, yun na. Sabi ko rin kanina earlier, it's a 5-second penalty Grand Prix kasi ito na lang. Ang penalties, almost all the drivers, hindi naman all, a lot of them literally went over the limit.
Oh, marami.
Oh. Tapos half of the got penalized, 'di ba? Half of the drivers. Kaya nga sabi niya, 'di ba, parang Lewis Hamilton was told by the pit na yung black and white flag. 'Di ba? Sabi niya, ba't ako meron ganun? Kasi ano ka, exceeding track limit. Sabi niya, lahat naman lahat naman nagsa-track limit. Ba't ako lang? Hindi lang ikaw may 5 seconds penalty.
Yeah.
Halos lahat.
Akala niya siya lang, no? Akala niya siya lang.
So,
I saw
ako
that.
din parang-
I saw that conversation.
Yeah.
Parang,
Nagulat
everyone's
rin
doing
siya.
it, pero ba't ako lang? Di ba? Lewis, kayo lahat.
Actually,
Hindi,
mainit
kayo
ang ulo ni Lewis kasi Bono was not there, 'di ba? Bono
isa na rin yan. His race engineer, Bono.
So,
Pete Bonington.
the way the engineer, yung kausap niya sa the way he delivers the message, medyo hindi niya alam paano i-break kay Lewis. Kasi kung si Bono yan, okay, Lewis, a lot of you drivers have
Di ba? Kalmang-kalma eh.
black and white flags. Ganon. Sa kanya kasi, okay, your time on that lap was deleted. Why? Di ba? Because you have a black and white flag. So lahat naman lahat naman kami dito. Isa yun. Medyo mainit ang ulo niya. Hindi marunong mag-deliver ng message yung over the radio.
Ay, time out. Meron
For-
speaking of, meron ako speaking of radio
Sige.
conversation. There was a conversation between the Ferrari drivers that they have plan B or option B. Something like that. And tinanong ni Carlos
That was
Sainz,
plan
what's
E.
plan B?
E.
E? E ba yun?
E.
Plan E.
Echo.
E.
E for echo, yes.
Echo.
What's
Yes.
plan E?
Plan E for echo.
And-
So plan E is actually E for engine explosion.
Yun na nga, di ba? It's very
E4.
timing.
Plan E4 engulf in flames.
Yeah,
And
wow.
kawawa naman. That's
Ay,
plan
nako.
E. Oh, yan.
Anyway, nagkaroon na ng mga bagong
Anyway.
standings dito sa mga driver natin.
Yeah, go. Standings.
Alright. Standings. Eto na.
Tabla na. Tabla na sila. Tabla na.
Verstappen,
Wala pa.
208.
Umahabol.
Charles, 170. Perez, 150. Sainz, 133. Russell, 128.
Wow.
And then we have Lewis Hamilton on 109. Norris, 64. Ocon, 52. Bottas, 46. And Manong Fernando on the top 10 of the Drivers' Championship, 29. And then team standings, we have Red Bull leading at 359, followed by Ferrari, 303, and then Mercedes at 237, McLaren, 81, Alpine, 81, Alfa Romeo, 51, Haas, 34. Naunahan na ni Haas si
Alfa Tauri.
Alfa Tauri
Ang Alfa Tauri.
and Aston Martin. Okay? And of course, Team
Williams.
Albon. Team Albon with 3 points. That's all Albon's points.
Kinikiri lang ni
FYI.
Albon eh.
Alright, so yan ang standing natin ngayon, guys. And, lalaya,
Yung yung
Ano pa bang...
podium.
ngayon lang. Oo. Yan, pakita natin yun. Kasi,
medyo...
asa na yan?
Ewan ko ano nangyari doon sa podium.
Hindi. Before that,
I think Yamboy...
While
Yamboy has a graphic with that. While waiting,
Yamboy is
just
still
going back
while
to
waiting
the...
for that. Okay.
ito.
sige.
Yan ang penalty GP 2022.
Yeah.
Okay? So, first, Lando Norris, Jong Uy, Pierre Gasly, and Sebastian Vettel have all been hit with penalties for track limit violations during the Austrian Grand Prix. So silang apat. And then we have Charles, Max, and Lewis issued
ito,
suspended
the Park Ferme.
10,000 euro fines after their officials or driver assistants entered Park Ferme without permission. Okay, if you saw yung pagpark na nila doon sa Park Ferme, wala kasi doon yung kanilang stool and table kung saan nila nilalagay yung kanilang helmet, sinusuot yung relo nila, kinukuha yung towelet nila, and suot ng cap, di ba? Usually, nandun yan eh. Wala nandun sa cool-down room.
Nasa cooldown.
That's why
nasa
walang
cooldown
ibang
room.
nagawa. Nasa cool-down room. So, walang ibang nagawa yung mga physio. Siyempre, tapunan mo ng towel yung driver mo kasi pawis di ba? Then, yung relo, siyempre, and the cap. So, yun, nagkaroon sila ng, pati yun napansin. Pati yun, I mean, and of course, after this, eto na. I know, lumalaki. Awarding. I know lumalaki na yung fan base ni Sergio, pero hindi ko alam pati pala yung graphics ng FIA, Sergio Perez din yung idol. Anyway, nakalagay dito Sergio Perez number 1, Carlos Sainz number 2, and Max Verstappen number 3. This is clearly the result of the Monaco Grand Prix, di ba? If you could remember. Sergio, Carlos, and Max. So, I don't know what happened. Tinanggal kaagad nila ito.
Pero lumabas ng ilang seconds, di ba?
Na-copy paste.
5
Yes.
seconds.
Napansin ka,
So,
our
the
eagle-eyed
only
viewers.
consistent thing that FIA had, the copy paste or the cut and paste na na talent. Yan lang ang kanilang consistent na talent. All the rest wala. And ito yung Lewis Hamilton versus Albon when he was still in Red Bull. The same corner where Russell and Perez hit. So this one is 2022. This one
Yep.
is
Deja vu.
2020. Yeah. Kuya
deja
Lulu,
vu.
I want to be like you. Sabi ni George. Ayan na. Si George. Idol na idol. Alright. So that's my
Alright.
analysis of this race. Oh, kayo guys, baka may ma-share pa kayo.
Nice. Wala
Alam
na.
ko. Alam ko. You
Actually,
practice.
yes, one slightly less less positive na note, unfortunately, no, kasi during the drivers meeting, Sebastian Vettel was reported to have walked out of the drivers meeting leading up to the Grand Prix, unfortunately, and I believe he was fined for it as well, kasi he was breaching drivers etiquette or something like that. Vettel was basically protesting. This was his form of protest against the apparent inconsistencies daw ng stewards and race direction in general. So here's hoping na, and also Mick Schumacher, of course, Mick Schumacher was actually supporting Vettel's walkout. Parang ginustify niya na he was right to do the walkout. Anyway, here's hoping no, na the stewards and the race directors really get their act together. I mean, I know it's difficult. I can't even imagine how difficult it is to direct an F1 race. All the
Definitely.
controlled chaos.
Yeah.
All that controlled chaos over ilang araw, not just race day, di ba? So all the inconsistencies na people are pointing out, yung track limits, marshalling, mga ganun mga bagay. So I'm really hoping the FIA F1 sorts all of this out, kasi it's really spoiling the fun for a lot of people. But then again, like I said, it's impossible to imagine being in the shoes of the race directors, of the stewards. It's a monumental task, and yeah, hats off to them for doing this job, no. Pero yun nga, I'm hoping that something good will come out of this, especially when the drivers are protesting to this level na nagwo-walk out na yung mga veterano mo. Si Vettel na yan eh. Yes, Myles.
May tanong lang ako di. Yung sa meeting na FIA, may Netflix?
Wala yan.
Isa na yan. Isa na rin yan.
Hindi,
Malamang
baka kasi
motivation
may
rin
Netflix.
yan.
Kasi may Netflix
I'm sure Netflix yan.
No, for sure
May
they don't
Netflix,
want to
no?
see that. For sure they don't
Yes.
want to see that.
Hindi,
It's
kasi,
a very...
DTS is one of the most popular series on Netflix right now. So, yeah, the show
Kaya
is
nga, diba, parang
literally
yung
writing itself, di ba?
Yes. The outburst
Oh.
of Toto Wolff in their meeting, di ba? Parang
Oh, di ba?
kinwestiyon nga siya ni
Sana
Christian
yan.
Horner, sabi niya, ano yan? Totoo ba yung galit mo? Pang Netflix lang yan. So, parang bigla lang pumasok sa isipan ko eh. Parang, ano ba yung walkout
Uy,
ni... Ano yung walkout ni Seb? Is it for real or for Netflix? Di ba? Parang, hindi naman. Hindi sa ano. I'm just stirring up
Pero
I'm stirring
actually-
up the Hornet.
They're stirring the pot. Yeah, they're stirring the business.
The beast.
Actually, may insider ako dun sa meeting na winokoutan ni ni Vettel. Nag-text kasi sa akin.
Barbero.
Bilang niya,
Barbero mo.
oo, nag-text sa akin.
Oh,
Ito
sabi
kasi
niya.
yung nangyari. Before kasi si Vettel nag-walk out, Alonso was ranting kasi ang reklamo lagi niya is isang beses lang ako nag-go sideways doon sa Canada. Binigyan niyo ako ng 5-second penalty for defending his position kay Valtteri Bottas. So nakita niya kasi last week yung race sa Silverstone, si Carlos Sainz ilang beses nagpa-ganun-ganon kay Lewis eh. Pero walang walang violation
Walang penalty.
from that. So walang penalty. So yun lagi ang reklamo ni Alonso. So magsasabi ngayon ng reason si FIA, hindi naman nagustuhan ni Alonso. I-rebuttal na naman niya hanggang sa nagpaikot-ikot na yung kwento na puno na si Vettel. Sabi niya, I'm hearing this
Yes.
for 15 years na. For 15
Yes.
years na. So nag-walk out siya. Kaya ganun, sabi nung nag-text sa akin. Kaya yun ang nangyari. Kasi idol ko si Ted.
he got fed up. Yeah, he got fed up rin.
Sobrang. Okay, next race is next week, July 22 to 24. This one is my favorite, France.
Ooh, yes.
Paborito ko ito. Dito, dito
Seryoso
lumabas
yan,
talaga dito lumabas ang pagiging magaling na teammate ni Sergio Perez sa Red Bull. Kasi
of course.
ito yung pinauna niya si Max Verstappen. Sinabihan si Perez sa radyo na unahin mo si Max. Ang linya ni Checo is okay, let's get them. Ganun ang sistema.
Yes.
So hinabol ni Max
Player.
si Valtteri Bottas and si Luis. Si Perez hinabol niya si Valtteri. So first, third itong Red Bull dito, second si Lewis Hamilton. So kaya paborito ko yung karera na yan, yung France na yan. I love it.
Kaya pala eh.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna
Hey,
look
marunong
forward
ka
to that.
Marunong ka mag-French.
Mag-French?
Ah.
Oh, marunong ko mag-French.
Oui.
French fries, French bread,
French kiss daw.
toast,
Adi.
French kiss. Ladies.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joke lang.
Alright. Wait. Ano
So
ba?
yeah, next.
in France.
Wala bang shout out dyan.
So, yes.
Shout out.
Yes, marami.
Shoutouts po natin.
Okay, before we go, Efren Lastimoso, mayang gabi. Shout out sir, watching from Bohol. Yes.
Oy.
All right.
Michael, magandang gabi po.
po.
Watching from
Michael.
Cavite. There we go.
Right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I think we're already done, guys. So,
Yes.
looking forward
Yes.
to France. Paul Ricard
Oh,
racetrack.
absolutely.
Yep.
Exciting.
This will be
Promote.
Yeah.
Yeah, promote
Another
natin yan.
another round of analysis for that race.
Yep.
And thank
Oh,
you
yes.
very much, everyone, for watching the show.
Yes.
Mas,
All right.
Ano
So,
yung plugging mo? Ano yung plugging?
plugging.
Okay.
Guys,
Okay.
before we leave, let's start with Andy.
Yes, so thank you guys for joining us tonight on the Purple Sector. This was our post-race breakdown talk show from the Austrian Grand Prix. Thank you for all the shoutouts, yung mga nag-shoutout, nag-comments, and everyone who is or was watching this show or will be watching this show in the future. Thank you for doing so. And we hope to catch you again next time. Ano, next week ba? Next week, no?
Next week.
Next
No, no.
Wednesday.
Next
Yeah.
week.
2 weeks
Next
away.
Wednesday.
2 weeks
Weeks
away.
away.
2 weeks from
2 weeks
now.
from now.
Yes. 2 Wednesdays from now. Hopefully, we will catch you again right here at 8:30 p.m. dyan sa Pilipinas. Again, 12:30 a.m. dito. That's fine. I will stay awake and I will stay with you guys because it's fun talking about F1.
Yeah.
So yes, we will see you there.
All right, Miles.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being with us, Facebook and YouTube. See you in France come July 22 to 24. And the Wednesday after that, dito tayo, TRL, Purple Sector. Good evening sa inyo lahat. And good evening, Andy, Yamboy.
Good morning, Andy na.
Good morning.
Oh, morning na dito.
Okay.
Mag-alas 2 na dito.
Okay. Thank you sa lahat and hope to see you next time, 2 weeks from now.
All right.
Yes.
Yam.
All right. Thank you for watching the show. We had fun, pero meron pa din akong ano tawag ito? Meron pa din akong hangover dun
Pahabol?
sa Silverstone. Pero anyway,
Yes.
yeah. Anyway.
Siyempre naman.
Sarap nun eh, di ba?
Who cannot
Oo,
forget
yun
that
the best.
race?
Pero, so, thank you for watching the show. I hope you learned something tonight. If not, I hope you were entertained. and see you sa France na racing. Daghang salamat sa mga mitanaw from Toledo, from Butuan. Maraming salamat from
Yes,
Cavite.
daghang salamat.
Thank you very much for watching the show. All right, Jong.
All right,
Your turn.
guys. Maraming salamat. So, these three gentlemen right here, thank you so much for joining us again. So, Yamboy, Myles, and Andy. And next race will be France. It's going to be an exciting one. Remember, we're already in the halfway of the Formula One racing season. And championship points is taking place. And what to expect, of course, Mercedes is also, so really hope that siguro towards the end, medyo maganda na yung laban ng front runners. Yung mid pack, medyo maganda na. So really hope that's gonna get more exciting. All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much to those who commented and joined us tonight. So we'll see you 2 weeks from now here at the Racing Line Purple Sector. And Carlos Sainz broke our heart that race. So that's it.
Okay lang yan, Carlos.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Masaya naman si Gunter.
Good night, good night.
Ayun, Gunter. Thank you,
Good
bye.
night from Gunter Steiner.
Yeah, okay. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night, guys.